Welcome to another episode of 1M3Y, a personal development podcast where I share about how to achieve your goals and speak to successful entrepreneurs and other key opinion leaders. I'm Joe.
And I'm Kerwin.
Welcome back to episode 2. And in this episode, we are going to talk about, am I successful? So, Kerwin, are you successful?
That's a really deep question to ask. And am I successful? I feel like at different stages of my life, my definition of success changed. But I think to this very day of what I went through in life, I think I want to say to a certain extent I am, but however, it's never enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think when we are young, we perhaps our goal is to enter a certain junior college or enter a certain polytechnic,
Yes,
certain
yes.
course. Then, at this age, when we are graduating from university, our goal is to get into a certain kind of job or get a certain first salary. And maybe later on in our lives, as we have seen from the older generations, they are currently seeking for purpose in life or finding their true calling in life. So,
Yeah.
so, so right, yeah, it really depends what success is at different stage in life.
During our parents' time, like Singapore was just still developing.
Yeah,
So a lot of people will tend to just get a job and earn money to bring back to the family.
yeah,
And but for us now, for us to find a job, money is a factor, but not an important factor. I would
yeah,
say
yeah. I
a lot of
agree.
people now they are looking for the purpose, the job, whether they are contented with the job and whether it helps society or helps you grow personally.
Mm.
And money is I would say what's the word for it? It just comes.
Secondary,
Yeah,
I guess.
secondary. Yes, that's the word.
Or maybe I
Secondary.
think it's more of like we just got a bit more comfortable now. So
Mm,
we have the luxury of options, the luxury of time to figure things out.
mm.
And
I think we were fortunate because back then our parents' generation they are more of earning money to survive,
correct.
to feed the family, to
Yes.
have a roof over their head.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. I agree with that. Yeah, so maybe what was like this big definition of success you had now or previously?
Mm, I usually when people ask me this question, I will always share about my time in normal academic.
Okay.
So I was in normal academic. The goal back then was to get into a local university
All right.
because during secondary three, I have a teacher that came to class and she was very frank with us. She was saying that only a small percentage of us, 40 students in the room, uh, get into a university. She didn't even say whether it's a private or public university.
Yeah.
I also do not know, looking back at it, on whether that conversation was supposed to be an encouraging conversation
Maybe it
or
was. I think it was meant to be
or
encouraging.
was it to scare us to study harder? But not because of that, it got me thinking. And I really did work really hard. And I got to be the top in cohort for normal academic.
Wow,
Yeah,
Kerwin is the top in the
no lah.
cohort.
I don't say
Okay.
that lah. So shy. No.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
then because of during that time, the government just introduced the Poly Foundation program
Wow.
where we skip secondary five and go straight to polytechnic. So
Yeah.
I do not have an O level cert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after polytechnic, I did well, and here I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say sometimes the goal or the journey towards success is painful, it's tiring, and you have people that come on board that tells you so many things.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole process, after I got into a local U, I felt, wow, actually I can do it.
Yeah.
Wow, this is I never knew that I could be that small percentage. However, I would like to say that different people goals and different people's success, they are not the same.
It's not the
Yeah.
same. Yeah. Before we continue this show, right, we have to explain what normal academic is to viewers who don't know because right now they actually remove the normal academic.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did.
So there's no more like from my
Oh yeah,
understanding,
yeah,
there is
correct.
no more express normal academic and normal technical.
Okay.
So when you go into school, you really just go in and you have this certain like I think like credits you have to fulfill or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah, so essentially in the past we have express, which is the 4 year secondary school or
Mm-hmm.
like high school program,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that we have the normal academics, which is like 5 years program, and at the end you have a chance to go into polytechnic
or
or
JC even. I have
or
friends who are actually in JC.
JC, or
Yeah.
if you don't do well, then you continue in ITE, right?
Whether they want to take a skill based career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Singapore, we have this ITE that is focused more on skills based education.
Mm.
Then we have the last one, normal technical, where when you graduate, you automatically go to the skills based route where you go to ITE. So okay, back to the show. So interesting that you actually have this goal to actually go to university, because personally, growing up from primary school to secondary school, I didn't really like studying a lot, and I was just going through the motion of
Mm.
studying, like it was just something I needed to do, right? So until secondary 2 maybe, I somehow just took up books to study, and surprisingly I got promoted to like a better class in secondary 3, and that was quite natural. I met some friends who actually like encouraged me, and sort of like we do study and motivate each other together to get better grades. We compare our results, and in a positive way, this actually helps to spur each of us
Mm.
to actually do well in our education.
Mm.
And then I went to a junior college. Then I went to university naturally, because as a when in junior college you get a A level certificate, which is essentially useless.
Mm.
You
I did not use it. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
know.
essentially you can't do anything because there's no skills in that. You learn mathematics, English, and science, which can't be used anywhere essentially.
It's a passport. It's a stepping stone, not a passport. A
Okay,
stepping stone
it's
to the
a
next
yeah, it is
choice.
a yeah. So it's a stepping stone. I
Yeah.
had no choice. I have to go to university, and I think coming to NUS, it opened my eyes to many different things, um, allowed me to actually go on different programs. We will talk about this next time, but yeah, I managed to go to overseas for 1 year in Stockholm, and that's where I met you, right?
Mm.
So
So you after you share so much, then how do you define success as for you right now?
right. So I think the problem here is that I have never been defining success for me. It was always to achieve a goal just one step more than before. But
Okay.
then now I think it's clearer for me. Right now the goal is to get as much salary as I can and learn as much skills as I can from the internships that I've taken part, from the different people I speak to, the events I go
Mm.
to, and even from this podcast, as we invite people onto the show, learn from them, network with people. The ultimate benchmark of success for me right now would be how much income I can bring in for myself. Because I think at this age, as we go into our career, we need to think about wealth accumulation. As we accumulate more wealth, then we have sort of what you say, a passport to the world, right? To do whatever we want.
That's very interesting though. I have friends or I spoke with people who actually say that yes, you need money to survive. Everyone knows that you need money to survive.
Yep.
However, they feel like currently their goal is more towards um, where this job can lead them 5 years or 10 years
Yep.
down the road, or
Yep.
what can they learn from it, even though they are not paying
Yep.
as well as
Yep.
other jobs.
Uh, I think it's a balance of both. So
Okay.
like even if you get a job that's high paying, doesn't mean that your job is not meaningful,
Okay.
right? It could be even more meaningful, right? Because you are holding more responsibility.
Mm.
So it really depends, I would say.
So it's
Uh,
not the either or, which is I need to get lesser pay to get a more progressive
yeah,
in that sense.
I think it would be to get a job that I like, that pays well. And
Okay.
I'm currently interested in the finance sector.
Okay.
So I'm exploring that, and I'm taking up internship and doing this podcast. Wow, it's a lot of like pressure or like scheduling.
Mm-hmm. For
So
sure.
yeah, thanks,
Pretty good
Kerwin.
for us.
So it's crazy to even to like just schedule our time to film
Mm.
this podcast already.
I think also along as the generation grows, I realized that at least for this time, a lot of focus has been put into mental well-being, success.
Yeah,
In a sense where we should focus more on how well we feel mentally,
yeah,
and
yeah. I guess traditionally it has always been about career, wealth,
yeah,
social status, and right now, like what you say, it is more on like strong relationship,
mm,
meaningful contribution to society, and mental well-being. Yeah, without all this, I guess it also would affect how we see life.
mm,
Okay, just now you shared about your goals that you already achieved.
Oh yeah.
How about now? Do you have like a goal that you have, or like success benchmark that you're looking at?
I think for me right now is really to know what I want to do in a job. Ultimately, we are all in our final year and we are all looking for a job.
Yeah, we are all.
Yeah, but there are so many options out there, opportunities out there. Whether it's the one for you, whether the door opens for you to step through it, that is another story. But to know what door to choose to try to open it, I think that is something that I'm trying very hard to decide. My own personal take is that you don't really need to know what you want now. Everyone is learning, everyone is growing. Maybe what I want 6 months ago is not what I want now.
Agree?
And what I think something that I can really say is that before about 1.5 years ago, I was okay to just getting a nice stable job with not as much progression and just go back home and maybe hang out with my friends. But along the way, I realized that there are so much more I can do, as there's so much areas that I can grow and learn from. And that really opened my eyes, saying that yes, it's okay to be contented, but are you looking back at life? Would you want to change anything you can change along the way?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you mean. So essentially, you're saying that it's just a changing thing, right? So goals differ. Your definition of success differ. Even right now, your career aspirations will change. So perhaps 3 months ago, your goal is to get a stable job. Right now,
Yes.
your goal is to start your own company
Something
or
like
be
that.
your own boss.
Yes.
Right. So I think it is fair. It is all right. It is normal. I would like to say that life is more sort of like a long game, right? The best thing in life would be to figure out what you want to do very, very early on in your life,
Yes.
and then forever you're just doing that. But again, maybe that's quite boring to some extent. So some part of life could the natural like fun thing perhaps is just about doing something and then canceling it from the list of things that you want to try,
Mm.
and then eventually you'll find something you want to do perhaps in your slightly early to late or like mid career point, and then you just maybe 5 years into your job you start focusing on that thing. Even Singapore's previous minister of education said something like that, like we need to, it's very good that if you find your goal and then you pursue it, but the thing is not everyone, sorry, not goal, more of like your passion.
Mm.
Not everyone find their passion.
Yeah.
Not everyone find passion so easily, right?
Yeah.
So if you are able to find a passion, good for you, but if you're not, don't worry, just keep trying.
And passion grows. As in, you will find. I feel like passion is, can be nurtured.
Yes.
You will do something and realize, oh, actually I didn't know, I did not try this before, and I actually like it, and I actually
Yeah.
grow to grow a passion for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of ways to see this, right? Perhaps in the career point of view, like for example, you want to try marketing. Then in marketing, there's also different form of marketing. There's
Mm.
like the big corporations kind of marketing.
Mm.
There's like the startup kind of marketing. Then in all these types of or size of company, there are also different segments or like industry sectors they're in.
Mm.
There could be like health, there could be finance. So like ultimately there's many ways to look at this. It could be just trying out different market, different segments, or different kind of company. So just keep trying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think coming back to the topic of success. Oh, I just remember after you shared so much, you actually do not compare yourself or do not compare your success with other people's success.
Yeah.
I think everyone's life is different. Everyone takes a different journey. For me, I took the longer route. I went from normal academic to poly. Then I even took a 10 months break before coming to university because I did not disrupt my army. But for other people, they just went from express, JC, or even an IB program to a local university. And to them, maybe a local university is not the goal that they wanted. It could be a backup plan because they want to strive and reach for an Ivy League school,
Yeah.
which is okay, which is fair. Everyone's on their own journey. And then one thing I always tell myself is do not compare, because when you do, there's a lot of negative emotions that grows in you.
Yeah, it is also quite hard to not compare.
Okay.
So in our society, since young, we have always been in this natural habitat of comparison.
Oh yes, yes, I can share with you. Last time someone shared with
Okay.
me like, oh, my friend's son got into EM1. How come you get to EM2? Is it you never study hard enough? Or is it you very slow, is it? Then in my head, I was like, why are you comparing me with your friend's son, which I have no idea who the person is?
Wait, hold up, Kerwin. How old are you? Because I had never heard of EM1 or EM2
Oh,
in.
oops, I'm turning to this year. But EM1, EM2 back then was a ranking system where
Uh,
they put you to a better academically driven class, I would say.
okay, so it's like bending.
It's like, oh yes, it's like bending. So if I score above 70% for all the subjects I go to this class, then between 50% to 70% you go to
Was it a
EM2.
primary school or?
Oh, it's a primary school thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's a primary
okay.
school thing.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
there was like band one, B1, B2,
Yeah.
B3. I remember, and when
Okay.
yeah, wait, I want to say this story. I remember receiving a report card, and I
Okay.
got in primary two, I got band two, band three, band three, band two. In my head, I was like, oh, I passed eh. Like, oh, that's sick. Like,
Okay.
but when I saw my own parents' face, and then my friends was comparing me in primary school to, I remember this. It was at a school bookshop.
Okay.
Then my friend was like, hey, how much you get? Hey, I got band one, band two. Then my parents heard him, and my parents saw my report card. Then my parents compared me with him, even though that my parents don't even know him. He's my classmate.
Oh man.
I feel it's, but I don't blame them. I feel like it's a Singapore. Can I say that?
It's like an Asian
It's like
kind of thing.
yeah, it's an Asian culture
Asian
kind of thing.
culture.
Yeah.
But I think we have to see this in both ways, right? Well, comparison will add some stress into our lives for sure. But then again, comparison also can create that sort of motivation for us to um, be better, right? If you don't compare, then where do you get your motivation to be better? Because ultimately, if you just focus on yourself, then there's no basis to improve. So perhaps there's some good in that.
Yes, that's true. Whether you can turn those negative energy or negative emotion to something positive.
Yeah,
How I feel that for the long term though, it's important to really just compare with yourself.
yeah.
I think the journey that you come on board, like I'm 28 and I am on the same stage as Joe, who is 24.
24.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm turning
24,
20.
25. And I'm like, what am I doing with the past 3 years? Why am I 3 years older than anyone else? And I realized that I used to have this mindset. I have friends who actually keep on reminding me about this. But subconscious, it's not they purposely do that. It's like they get married.
So
They got
they
BTO.
are in a different stage in
Yeah,
life.
they have a kid now. They are
Okay,
stable, they're earning a nice 5-figure job
okay.
after 3 years in working, but I am still here in school trying to navigate where I want to go next. Is I would not say that I'm slow. Oh yeah, maybe to a certain extent I'm slow, but I'm going through my own journey and I tried different things to know what I really want and how I can grow and how I can push myself more to learn more. Ultimately, I really feel that it's in life is all about learning
Okay.
and comparing, going back to your topic, yes, is sometimes it's important, but I feel that the only person you should compare with is ultimately
Yeah.
yourself and your own journey that you have been on.
Yeah, I guess then it's like a mindset thing, right? So how perhaps we could look at this is having this growth mindset, right? So when you compare, you don't tell yourself you're not good. You tell yourself you're not there yet. So you are, it doesn't mean you cannot get there. It's more of like you have focused on something else in life, that this person has focused on these
Mm,
things in life. So just take it as a point to improve on, and
yes.
then just work on it. So I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Just yeah, get into a good growth mindset, and then comparison will be fine then.
And also, like we mentioned earlier, success changes at different stage of our life.
Yeah.
Maybe now earning money might be the biggest thing I need to get right now because I mean we are all having student loans to pay off. I realize
Okay. Yeah.
all the student loans and um, but after paying off the student loans, is earning money the next big thing? Maybe if I'm starting a family or buying a house, but or would it be finding purpose and meaning in a job or how much you can progress in a job might actually take precedence over earning after having a stable income.
Ultimately, I guess the journey to these goals are essentially what defines you as a person,
Mm,
your learnings, your takeaways
mm,
from this journey, right? So perhaps I guess we can all focus on the journey rather than the goal, because if you keep improving yourself, eventually you should be able to get to whatever you want to get into. Of course, there's also saying that sometimes you just don't get what you want in life. You
Yeah.
don't get to control all the factors, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I guess the most important thing is to focus on the journey.
I think someone shared, just to add on to that,
Yeah.
someone shared with me this. I think it's very nice. I think I would like to share with you also is that if you do something you're passionate in and it adds value and you continue adding value to not just your life but to people around you, the rewards will come naturally.
Okay.
Do you believe in that?
The reward will come naturally.
Meaning that don't work towards a reward.
Okay.
Don't maybe
I
fight for
get.
you,
I
for
get.
you.
I guess you're saying that the reward is a bonus of the journey.
Yeah, it's a bonus of journey.
That's how we should see it.
Mm, that's one way to see it. That's
Okay.
one way to see it, and that's how I'm seeing it as
Okay.
now. Maybe because for you, you might want to hit a 5-digit monthly pay. Let's say,
Yep.
for example,
That
and
there is.
you are that for example, yeah, and then you are going towards doing so many things to reach to that 5-digit monthly pay with that goal in mind.
Yeah.
That's not wrong. That's one way to see uh, how to reach your goal or how to be successful. But another way of looking at it is this is what I'm passionate in, and this is what I want to. Or actually, this is more towards a startup mindset also.
Okay.
So this is issue that I want to solve. That I found an innovative solution for this problem.
Yeah.
However, right now there's a lot of like I do not know about this, whether this is right or not. But if you continue working towards that and continue being that as motivated as he is, as you are, naturally it will show that you are doing something right and the the rewards or the result will be something to your advantage.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's one way of seeing it, and this is something that someone shared with me.
I think that
I
is
thought that
one
was
good way to see it. Focus on the journey, the reward will come.
yes.
Right.
However, like you mentioned, as external factors and everything, we can't control life, what life throws at us,
Yeah.
and it's really up to a person, individual, and character actually
Yeah.
to really press on and be what's the word resilience.
Okay.
Yeah,
Resilience.
resilience.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I agree. I think. Wow. So, I guess it is 25 minutes already. We should
Okay.
start
Wrapping up.
wrap up this episode. So perhaps just give me like one takeaway from your side.
I think for me, it would be success changes at different stages of your life. Don't don't be upset or don't be negative that sometimes you can't reach
Don't
your
be so
goal.
beat up with that. You just
Yeah,
change your goal.
not just move the goalpost,
Yeah.
but also move a goalpost to not move it backwards, but move it at another direction.
Okay.
They're still moving forward, but not
Yeah.
move it
There's
backwards.
many routes you can take in
Yes,
life. Okay.
to be where you want to be.
Yeah.
What about
Uh,
you?
I would say the more important thing is that comparison is something that's good. Convert comparison into positive energy, and to actually work hard in life instead of letting it bog you down and stress you too much. Yeah, don't think so much about what other people is going through,
Mm.
because what you see may not be what they are actually facing
Mm.
throughout. So yeah, uh,
And if any of you have your own success stories that you want to share with us or a struggle that you're trying to go through right now, we are more than happy to read or share with you our thoughts. Even though it's just two of our opinions,
yeah,
but you just need someone to hear or you want if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, please feel free to drop us a DM on our Instagram at 1m3y.podcast.
yep. And reminder here is that the journey is ongoing. Success is something you can redefine and pursue through your life. Uh, don't be so worried if you didn't get a certain goal. Just shift a focus. You'll get it eventually. Yeah, thanks for listening to this episode. 1M3Y podcast. We are posting on YouTube and Spotify. So share with your friends um, wherever you are listening this from. And yeah, thank you so much for this episode. Is there anything else you want to share?
No,
All right, thank you. Bye
bye.
bye.